taijutsu, kenjutsu, intelligence, strength, speed, chakra, hand seals. And besides these characteristics, shinobi differ in terms of strength, ranging from the relatively low genin. From the very beginning, when Team 7 arrives at the written stage of the tournament, team will be disqualified. In the end, everyone except Naruto realized that in order to succeed, they would have to cheat. Then they started using their own methods of subtle trickery. Thus, it can be understood that Naruto has a fairly low level of tactical thinking, as indicated in the databook. Passed the exam, which indicates that she has a high level of academic knowledge. Sasuke used the Sharingan, and Neji the Byakugan to cheat on the answers. Gaara, Kiba, Shino, Tenten, Temari and Kankuro used their techniques to also copy the correct answers. Shikamaru, Ino and Choji, thanks to teamwork, also successfully completed the stage. Let's move on to the qualifying stage. The first fight was between Sasuke and Yoroi. Yoroi's most remarkable ability was his capacity to absorb an opponent's physical and spiritual energy simply by making physical contact with them. Yoroi was quite skilled in this technique, as he was able to absorb Sasuke's chakra even with just a slight touch of his hair. This additional chakra could also be used on its own to perform techniques that require chakra. He was a fairly strong genin and almost managed to defeat Sasuke, but at the last moment, Sasuke was able to take control of the battle and win. Little is known about him, but in the anime, he shows a wide range of techniques, such as demonic illusion, technique of the descending hell, which creates the illusion of a fireball in the sky to scare his opponents. He has demonstrated mastery in using water-based techniques, such as the water cloning technique and water release, great waterfall technique against Shino. So I will put him in D tier. Zaku was the next in the arena, and his opponent was Shino Abirame. Since one of his arms was still in poor condition, Shino advised him to surrender. Zaku refused and instead attacked Shino with his healthy arm. After a brief hand-to-hand fight, Zaku was surrounded on both sides and was given a choice: attack Shino in front of him, or the insects that had infiltrated behind him. Zaku revealed that both of his arms were healthy and prepared to strike both with a sound wave. However, when he tried to use his technique on both the insects and Shino simultaneously, his arms suddenly exploded, rendering Zaku incapacitated. Zaku, like many ninjas of Otogekure, was physically modified through unnatural enhancements that improved his abilities. During the battle with Shino, Zaku claimed that he could precisely control sound and direct it not just in one direction, but this was never shown. It was shown that the main drawback of Zaku's ability was the fact that if the air pipes or valves became clogged, it would lead to terrible and unpleasant consequences for him. In the databook, Zaku's abilities were described, showing he has good skills in ninjutsu and speed, and decent abilities in taijutsu, while the rest were rated quite low. Therefore, I would also place Zaku in D tier, slightly above Yoroi. He demonstrated his abilities in the Chunin exam battle against Zaku, when beetles crawled out of his cheeks and moved over him throughout the fight. Thanks to this victory, Shino reached the finals of the exams, where he was supposed to face Kankuro. However, at the last moment, Kankuro surrendered. Although Shino relies on using his insects in battle, he has proven to be quite skilled in taijutsu. During the preliminary matches of the Chunin exams, he calmly blocked an incoming strike from Zaku with his right hand, and then defeated him with a single blow. Shino was also fast enough to evade a stealthy attack launched in close proximity by Karasu, the puppet of Kankuro. Additionally, Shino has shown himself to be very intelligent, able to use his analytical and observational skills to make sensible decisions based on precise reasoning. Like Shikamaru, Shino dominates in battles by systematically staying several steps ahead of his opponent, while also keeping a considerable distance to avoid enemy attacks. According to the first databook, Shino has good abilities in ninjutsu and intelligence and average in everything else. Nevertheless, he is quite a strong shinobi at that time, so I will put him in the C tier. Next is Masumi Tsurugi, a shinobi from the Hidden Leaf Village, partner of Kabuto Yakushi and Yoro Akado. To be more effective in gathering information, he underwent a surgical procedure to gain the ability of soft body modification, which allows him to soften his body and penetrate any space. With this ability, he can stretch and twist any part of his body at any angle, elongating and even wrapping body parts around an opponent. In the anime, he was able to create water clones. There is no further information about him, but it can be said that as a genin at 23 years old, he was unable to show his strengths, losing to Kankuro quite quickly. So, I will place him in the E tier. Having proved to be an extremely capable shinobi, Kankuro, thanks to his talent in puppet manipulation and disguising them as real people, Forest, where Kankuro encountered our heroes, Shino volunteered to duel him alone, arguing that, as announced in the final stage of the exam, Kankuro was his designated opponent. While fighting Shino, Kankuro was defeated. The young Aburame immobilized him. At the beginning, Kankuro was only able to control one puppet, Karasu. However, even then his abilities were at a fairly high level. During the rescue of Sasuke Uchiha, Kankuro was already controlling 2 puppets. In addition to Karasu, there was also a puppet called Kurori. In the first databook, Kankuro has good skills in ninjutsu and chakra, as well as in hand seals, and average skills in everything else. However, he still does not have a wide range of abilities, so I will place him in the C tier, slightly below Shino. Next, the 4th match between Ino Yamanaka and Sakura Haruno begins. At first, they argue and insult each other, after which they decide to take the fight seriously. At the beginning of the battle, both fought not seriously, as Ino felt sorry for Sakura and did not want to hurt her. After that, Ino and Sakura fought seriously, using most of their energy in the process. Ino tried to invade Sakura's mind after cutting her hair and channeling chakra into it to restrain Sakura. She succeeded, but inner Sakura was summoned. With low chakra levels, Ino and Sakura rushed at each other to deliver the final blow, but as a result, they knocked each other out. When their consciousness returned, they decided to become friends again, but the rivalry over Sasuke would not end. This fight is hard to take seriously. Sakura has good analytical skills and chakra control. Ino also has good analytical skills and speed, but everything else in both girls is rather weak, and they didn't stand out in any other way during the exam, so yeah, I would rank them at the very bottom. The duel between Tenten and Temari begins. Temari is unharmed and easily defeats Tenten. According to her teammates, Tenten is a highly skilled and capable kunoichi. As a specialist in the use of weapons, Tenten is an expert in close combat. She displays impressive skill with a wide variety of weapons. Her knowledge of them is so advanced that she has earned the nickname Ninja Weapons Specialist within her team. Her excellent aim is noted by her teammates. She never misses her target, hitting 100 out of 100 items. At the same time, according to the databook, she has good abilities in taijutsu and ninjutsu, but everything else is average. But she wasn't able to fully realize herself in the exam and didn't stand out in any other way, so I'll put her in tier E, slightly stronger than Tsurugi. As one of the 4th Kazekage's children who underwent grueling training at Sunagakure, Temari is a highly talented and experienced kunoichi who specializes in long-range combat. Even as a genin, Temari easily killed Taiya, the 2nd strongest member of the Sound 4, without a scratch. Temari is a strong analyst, able to easily deduce an opponent's strategies and weaknesses soon after a battle begins. According to the databook, Temari has strong ninjutsu skills, intelligence, and speed. She performed well in the exam and even managed to fend off Sasuke, but her limited repertoire of techniques and her overall strength were inferior to many, so Temari deservedly leads the C tier. Kin focused on using Saban as part of her fighting style, throwing it with great precision to strike her opponent's vital points. She often attached bells to her Saban to confuse and distract her opponents with the ringing of the bells. In the anime, she also used sound genjutsu, activated by the ringing of the bells. After several bouts between the participants, Kin was matched against Shikamaru. The duel began with Shikamaru attempting to use the shadow imitation technique on Kin, but she responded by throwing Senban, forcing the Konohagakure Genin to dodge them and cancel the technique. Shikamaru initially believed her trick was a simple combination of needles with, and without bells, intended to distract him. However, Kin, using her strings attached to the bells, began ringing them, creating a bell-ringing genjutsu, immersing Shikamaru in it. The kunoichi, seizing the opportunity, threw Senban at her opponent, injuring him, intending to do the same again and end the duel in her favor. Just before this, she was caught in the shadow imitation technique, which revealed her. As it turned out, Shikamaru was able to pass his shadow under Kin's thread without being noticed, and catch it with his technique. Shikamaru forced Kin to throw a shuriken using his clan's technique, causing her to hit her head on the wall and lose consciousness, marking the Konoha shinobi's victory, so she's sent to the E tier. The next fight is Kiba Inuzuka vs Naruto Uzumaki. Kiba begins fighting at full strength. He first feeds Akamaru, then himself, the fighting pill. Akamaru grows larger and turns a deep red. Together, they use the beast clone technique. Naruto uses his new technique, creating 4 shadow clones. The first one punches Kiba in the face, and the others kick him into the air. Meanwhile, the main Naruto, jumping off the back of the first clone, kicks the target from above, similar to the lion combination used by Sasuke Uchiha several fights earlier. This technique knocks out Kiba, and Naruto is declared the winner. According to the databook, Kiba has good taijutsu skills, speed, and strength, and his combined attacks with Akamaru make him a formidable opponent. However, like most, he was unable to demonstrate his high level of strength. Nevertheless, I'll place him at the top of the D tier to determine what they were writing on the written test. His primary attack was accomplished with the resonating echo speaker on his right forearm, which he used to create sound during his attacks. His ability affected the inner ear, channeling sound deep into it, causing intense pain, disorientation, dizziness, and nausea. During his battle with Choji Akimichi, Choji attempted to block his attacks by retracting his head into his body using the human bullet tank, but was stopped by the fact that by channeling sound into the water within his body, Dosu could produce the same effect. Choji was instantly defeated by his attack. Dosu was also quite intelligent, as he was able to recognize both Sakura's traps and Orochimaru's plan to test Sasuke. He also has decent ninjutsu abilities, speed, and intelligence, and overall proved himself to be a capable genin. However, his abilities were limited and he also lacked high strength. Therefore, I'll place him in tier D, slightly weaker than Kiba. Choji's techniques revolve around his ability to partially or completely alter his weight and size. The power of his strikes is so great that there are virtually no physical barriers to them. Before his battle with Jirobo, Choji only mastered one technique. After his victory, he was able to use the partial magnification technique. Choji uses the Akimichi clan's secret technique, and, taking the form of a ball, attacks Dosu. Dosu manages to evade Choji, who crashes into a wall. Unable to escape, Choji loses the match when Dosu emits a sound wave. According to the databook, Choji has decent strength and endurance, but everything else is weak. It's also noticeable that Choji wasn't motivated to win, and he performed rather poorly in the exam, so I'll put him in tier E. Due to Shikamaru's poor grades at the academy, his teachers considered him a mediocre ninja. This misconception was proven wrong during the Chunin Exams, when Shikamaru became the only genin in his graduating class to become a Chunin. As a member of the Nara clan, Shikamaru can control his own shadow. His signature move is the shadow imitation technique, which he learned in the anime before entering the academy. By connecting his shadow to a target, Shikamaru can use the shadow imitation technique to restrain their movements and force them to mimic his own. When used against opponents, they can resist his control, requiring Shikamaru to exert extra effort to keep them bound. After Shikamaru was assigned to Team 10, Asuma noted that Shikamaru was much smarter than his academy grades indicated. By disguising several intelligence tests as games and puzzles, the only way Asuma could get Shikamaru interested, Asuma discovered that Shikamaru's IQ exceeded 200. His poor scores were attributed to him being too lazy to take the written exams. According to the databook, Shikamaru possesses excellent ninjutsu skills and a very high intelligence, allowing him to devise winning tactics on the fly. Despite his average stats, he is a fairly powerful shinobi, earning him a tier B ranking. In her first appearance, Hinata showed weakness due to her lack of determination, despite her diligent efforts, unlike her comrades. However, Hinata began training more intensely and eventually became a Chunin. The activated Byakugan gives a ninja a heightened sense of perception. It allows them to see through various obstacles and create a field of view of almost 360 degrees, with the exception of a blind spot located at the back of the neck near the third thoracic vertebra. Another unique feature of the Byakugan is its long-range reach. Juken is a taijutsu style used by members of the Hyuga clan. It is the most advanced taijutsu style used in Konoha, With the Byakugan, a shinobi can see an opponent's tenketsu, 361 points located in their chakra circulation system. Hinata had good taijutsu skills and decent intelligence, combined with her Byakugan. Even though she held back during the exam, she was a very strong shinobi at that time, so I'll put her in tier B above Shikamaru. Rock Lee reveals the top 5 characters by strength. During his time at the academy, Lee demonstrated a lack of aptitude for ninjutsu and genjutsu. After being ridiculed by his classmates for this, Lee focused his attention on taijutsu. After successfully graduating from the academy, he was assigned to Team Guy, along with Niji Hyuga and Tenten. During the team's first meeting, Lee promised to become a powerful ninja, even though he lacked the ability to use ninjutsu or genjutsu. Niji laughed at him, but their sensei, Mike Guy, took a special interest in Lee. He encouraged Lee to stick with him, and over time, began teaching him powerful forms of taijutsu. Rock Lee is proficient in taijutsu. He primarily uses standard taijutsu to engage opponents, inflicting damage from the outside. Due to his incredible speed, his taijutsu can be life-threatening. He can often defeat an opponent with just a few strikes, demonstrating his immense physical strength. His taijutsu was below average at the academy, but training and Guy's support helped him reach great heights. After passing the first 2 stages of the exam, he fought Gaara during the preliminary exam and lost in a brutal and lengthy fight. He sustained a severe injury to his left arm and leg after defeating Gaara with a powerful combo while 5 Heaven's Gates were open. Rock Lee demonstrated a very high level of taijutsu for his age, as well as high speed and strength, and was even able to defeat Sasuke before the exam began. However, Rock Lee's strength is concentrated solely in taijutsu, and when facing characters like Gaara, his attacks are useless even without weights and open gates. This limitation prevents him from being the strongest character, so he deservedly leads tier B. And we only have 4 exam participants left. Who do you think the top characters will be? We'll talk about that in the next video.